Hey, this is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Today I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this Daniel Penny. I didn't want to do it because it's such a touchy topic, white people. I'm sorry, but this is just how good it is to be white in America. Let's go ahead and run the tape.
For more than 24 hours across 5 days before finally reaching this verdict. Daniel Penny found not guilty on all counts. On Friday, the judge overseeing dismissed the more severe charge of second-degree manslaughter, which carried a 15-year maximum sentence.
Okay, let's go over some of the specifics. Daniel Penny, a Marine vet. Um, he basically was this homeless guy on the subway, going crazy. You know how poverty is. You've been around it if you ever been on a train or a bus. Sometimes the crazy guy comes on the bus and he gets to acting crazy. I always be wishing that one of those brave white men would jump up and 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 make him sit down or stop harassing people. Well, Daniel Penny, being the American vet that he is, he felt like he needed to stand up and let's just watch the tip.
After the jury was unable to reach that unanimous verdict on that count. Now, a jury of 12 New Yorkers been locked down in that courtroom, like we said, for 5 days. It was 24 hours of deliberations trying to get to that first count. Once the judge dismissed that first count, they went to the second count, and that's when they finally got this decision where he was found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. And that was shortly after they started deliberating this morning. They came in just after 10 a.m. this morning. They were inside for a little over an hour. There was some back and forth between the defense and the judge. When the defense came out, they came up to the judge and said, there's been protesters, and with so many windows open in the court.
Okay, so they said Jordan Neely was um like a Michael Jackson impersonation. He didn't look too old to me. They said he had mental illnesses, and actually, that second degree manslaughter would have only carried 15 years, do 7 years. Involuntary manslaughter or manslaughter even is the lowest of murder charges. That's like if you crash into somebody in a car and they die because of it, or you let off a firearm and somebody gets hit. You had no intention on killing them. I don't even know how he was charged with manslaughter. This was clearly a murder, but ooh, I'm not a judge or a jury. So when the jury was pressed with giving him the manslaughter, they was at a deadlock. They couldn't give him the manslaughter. They tried to give him the second degree manslaughter at a deadlock. Now he's acquitted completely. So once again, um, I guess somebody's acting crazy on the bus. Choke their ass. You can go ahead and choke them out if you need to. You know.
Courtroom. We're told from our reporter Michelle Ross, who's been inside, that there are so many windows open in that courtroom because of how hot it is in that building that they could hear the protesters potentially from down in the street. The judge argued, well, there was protests on both sides. You had Jordan Neely protesters and you had Daniel Penny protesters. So both of them have been at each other. The defense was arguing that the Neely protesters were louder and the jury could potentially hear that.
I kind of feel like this brother right here who was holding down Neely's hands. He, these people assisted the murder, like just as much as he y'all was helping Daniel control this man. Y'all should have got Daniel up off of him. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why they would need to possibly switch rooms. That didn't get to that point because the jury found him not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. At the request of prosecutors on Friday, the judge dismissed that second-degree manslaughter count. That was the big one. That carried a maximum of 15 years. This second count carried 4 years. There was no minimum in either of these counts. This directed the jury to turn to that lesser charge. What that means is now you're free to consider count 2. Now, whether or not that makes any difference or not. We'll see. But what we're going to do is wait for Michelle Ross because she's coming here. Prosecutors allege that Penny killed Neely. We'll go back to what this case is. A 30-year-old homeless man who had previously been a Michael Jackson impersonator when he placed him in a 6-minute long chokehold on a subway.
I'm gonna just make a long story short. Um, Even though I've just watched the tape of him choking Neely to death, I guess he had a condition, a health condition. And he also had smoked some synthetic weed. And despite me seeing him getting choked to death, that's not what really happened. He died because he smoked the synthetic weed. And that's why he was acquitted on all of the charges. Are you kidding me? America. Hey, you know what? I- See, man, it's like we got to stick together, yo. Hey, we can't be. If it gets on camera, y'all can't just be beating every case. Like, come on, man. Like it's on tape. You know what I'm saying? Like if nobody sees it, then you can be like, okay, he was smoking the fake weed and that's how he died. But I I don't see how we're literally looking at it. Like he stopped moving 6 minutes after into the choking. Neely, he wasn't moving. And then they said that Penny said, I was watching the whole case. I just didn't want to report on it. Then they said Penny said 6 minutes in, I don't care if I go to jail. I am not letting this man go. And then he held him for another 57 seconds after his body was lifeless. You know, um, that's, I just sometimes I wish I could be white for a day so I could choke somebody all the way out on camera. You know, mess around. Just first, I would just go around and smoke synthetic weed with all the people that I don't like. It'll be in their system, and then it'll be clearly that I didn't kill him. I mean, just because I'm choking them to death, that don't that don't mean I'm a murderer. You know?
Car last year, including for 51 seconds after his body went limp. Now, Assistant District Attorney have argued that Penny knew his actions could kill Neely, but continued to hold him in a chokehold for what they said was way too long, and they did not recognize his humanity. The medical examiner concluded that the chokehold did kill Neely. The defense arguing that Neely died from a genetic condition, they say, and that the synthetic marijuana found in his system, the jury saying they did not believe that. The defense attorney telling
Hey, that synthetic weed crazy. I smoked some of that before. I felt like I was gonna die. I smoked some of that before. I, as a matter of fact, if somebody ever give me some synthetic weed, we fighting. That's how serious of craziness it is. And I can see how if you smoke some synthetic weed and then somebody choke you to death, you might die. I don't want to see nobody go to jail. So I hate jail. So Daniel Penny, congratulations on your acquittal. You know what I'm saying? You now a murderer. You a murderer now, like by definition. But you did it for those people on the subway. You know what I mean? Look at him out here walking out with his head high. He doesn't look like he's ashamed of it. And since he's not, I'm not. You know, hey, if you like it, I love it, America. As you can hear outside of the court after they was made the decision, hundreds of people out there supporting Daniel Penny. You know what I'm saying? Some people out there supporting Neely also, but they were scared that people in New York might protest or riot or fight because of the acquittal. At this point, we used to it, America. You know what I'm saying? We used to stuff like this happening and people getting acquitted. And I don't like doing racial topics because it divides us. You know what I'm saying? But so, but it's just entertainment at this point. You know what I mean? I know somebody chokes me out to death. They probably are the ones that choked me to death. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe.